Zykerria Robinson was only 5 years old when she was taken off of life support and died on October 19, 2018. Doctors reported that she had severe head trauma and showed signs of lifetime abuse due to the multiple injuries on her body. Zykerria's mother, Michelle Cannimore, and her boyfriend, Jonte Harris, was arrested on October 18, 2018 for child abuse. After Zykerria died, Michelle's charges were changed to second-degree murder and child neglect, and Jonte was charged with first-degree murder. Let's get into it.
I hit her ass across the head, so she knows not to play with me. She's gonna learn. His words. Jonte Harris's words about 5-year-old Zykerria Robinson. I cannot deal with Kiri bad behavior. She knows nothing or how to do nothing. It's embarrassing, I can't lie. It's like we have an idiot child on our hands. I don't like her. She is corrupt. Words, albeit harsh words, that pale in comparison to the malicious punishment and torture that he inflicted upon that 5-year-old. It is with heavy hearts and the sincerest apologies that the state of Florida presents to you this tragic case of Zykerria Robinson. She was 5 years old, 3 foot, 7 inches, and 39 pounds when she suffered over 30 separate injuries to her body, from her head to her toes, at the hands of this man. The truth about this case is the state of Florida's job, our job, is to keep each and every one of you from the mind-numbing anger that will fill you as you look at photographs of bite marks on her arms, her legs, her buttocks, old healing wounds, new bleeding wounds, the purple pattern of bruising covering her chest, her side, and her back, and her blackened eyes and forehead.
Michelle lived in Jacksonville, Florida at the Oak Hill Tree Apartments with her 2 girls. Michelle and Jonte had previously known each other from high school. Sometime in January of 2018, they reconnected and began a relationship the following month. Michelle worked nights, so her sister moved in with her and the girls in May of 2018 to assist with taking care of the girls while Michelle worked. Jonte at first lived with his sister, but because they had a disagreement, he moved in with Michelle, her sister, and the girls in June of 2018. Prior to Jonte moving in, Michelle had never introduced him to the girls. Jonte was aware of them but hadn't been around them or spent any time with them. Shortly after he moves in, the girls are off to spend the summer with their dad. Michelle and the girls' father separated sometime after Zykerria was born after a 6-year relationship. Jonte, Michelle, and her sister are the only 3 at the apartment until her sister moves out in July of 2018. This leaves Jonte and Michelle a bit of time alone before the girls return in early August to start school. Jonte attended school and didn't offer much financial support. Michelle worked an overnight shift and usually was scheduled to be at work either 10 or 11 p.m. and she would get off either around 6 or 7 a.m. depending on the time that she went in. Michelle's sister had moved out, so now Jonte is watching the girls. Before Michelle went to work each night, she was required to feed the girls and get them ready for bed. Prior to Jonte living in the home, Michelle disciplined her girls. However, she decided to let Jonte take over discipline the girls, and she quickly learned that he didn't have the same discipline style as she did when she saw him pick Zykerria up, choke her, and throw her on the floor. She also noticed that Jonte wanted to inflict pain on Zykerria. He would bite her as hard as he could on her legs and arms.
Family says that Zykerria's father survived after he was shot in the face last year, and now he's burying his daughter, who he says he's been trying to get custody of since May. Candles were lit in the darkness as loved ones gathered to remember 5-year-old Zykerria Robinson. Police say the little girl died last week from her injuries after she was beaten by her mother's boyfriend. According to the arrest report, her mother went to work and didn't get help for the little girl for hours. By then, it was too late. Zykerria's grandfather, Henry Boyle, says DCF had been recently investigating the couple last month.
If one person could have stepped up and went in that apartment and checked on our grandkids, she'd probably still be alive today.
Michelle didn't agree with Jonte's choice of abuse. She pleaded numerous times for him to stop. Instead, his abuse became worse. Early September, Michelle had to pull Zykerria out of school due to the bruises Jonte had put on her from punching her in her stomach and face. Zykerria was finally able to go back to school, but Michelle had to pull her out again in early October because of Jonte's abuse. Jonte spent much time texting Michelle while she was at work complaining about Zykerria. His abuse became so bad that Zykerria stopped talking. Jonte would get mad at everything Zykerria did. Michelle talked to Jonte again about how he was disciplining Zykerria, and this time he promised her that he wouldn't do it anymore and to trust him. She trusted him, but he didn't stop abusing Zykerria. Michelle had begun bringing a first aid kit home from work so that she could doctor Zykerria's wounds when she got home. Jonte would make Zykerria wait until Michelle got home to be cleaned up from her bloody face and head. It was clear that Jonte didn't like Zykerria. When she stopped talking, he said that she was just trying to be cute. He had made a rule that they would not talk to Zykerria since she wasn't talking to them. He was the ruler of the house, and he expected his rules to be followed. Jonte had the attitude that Zykerria was evil and corrupt, and that she was going to learn not to keep playing with him. Michelle wasn't being physically abused by Jonte, but he was very controlling and demanding of her. He belittled her and often made her feel as if she wasn't good enough. But Michelle knew he must stop and asked him multiple times to just walk away when he got upset rather than take his anger out on Zykerria. Jonte only allowed Zykerria to eat vegetables and drink water. He had made the living room his man cave. Zykerria was not allowed to be in the living room. She had to stay in her room because he didn't want the girls around each other because he didn't want Anaya to start acting like Zykerria. Problems began in their relationship when Michelle struggled to discipline Zykerria the way he wanted her to. A week prior to Zykerria's death, Jonte had beaten her so hard that she had blood in her pelvis. He claimed that she had an attitude and was being disrespectful. Zykerria wanted to go live with her dad and didn't want Michelle to be her mom anymore. Michelle had begun keeping the girls away from their dad and grandparents to keep anyone from finding out about the abuse. Michelle admitted that the girls had a great dad and she knew he would take good care of them, but she was devastated with the fact that Zykerria would rather live with her dad than her. Jonte was all for Michelle sending Zykerria to live with her dad. He was embarrassed by her and felt that she was too much of a headache. He stated that Zykerria wasn't going to steal his joy. Michelle knew she had opportunities, but she was scared she would lose her girls and go to prison. October 17, 2018. Michelle and Jonte had an argument because his mother had called Michelle to let her know that Jonte Jr. had said that one of the girls said that Jonte was touching her. Jonte is furious, automatically blames Zykerria, opens the door and tells her to get out. Michelle tells Jonte that she wasn't going nowhere and went outside and made Zykerria come back in the apartment. When Zykerria comes back in, Jonte keeps hitting her until she's unconscious. Michelle finds her on the floor moaning. At some point, she is placed on the couch. Jonte pours water on her and she still doesn't wake up. They sit down to have dinner and Michelle leaves for work. A few hours after she gets to work, Jonte sends her a text saying he was leaving because he didn't feel like he had a place in the home. Blah, 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 whatever. Jonte knew that he had messed up and took it too far. Michelle leaves work and comes home. Zykerria was still on the couch unresponsive. She had been on the couch for a total of 7 hours. Jonte puts her in a tub of water. She's still unresponsive. He tries to give her CPR, but she's still not responding. Michelle calls 911. Michelle and Jonte were arrested and interviewed separately. While being interviewed, their phones were downloaded and investigators were able to see a great number of messages between the two about Jonte's abuse of Zykerria. Jonte's phone also showed Google searches related to Zykerria's injuries, such as blood in the toddler's urine. They both had a similar story that Michelle sent Zykerria to the bathroom to take a bath after she peed on herself. Shortly after, Michelle stated that she heard a thud coming from the bathroom, so she went in to check on Zykerria and found her unresponsive, lying face down in the tub. They both claimed that the bruises came from her having tantrums. Now, with the evidence of the injuries, investigators knew it was more to the story. Zykerria was on life support. She had 4 adult bite marks on her body, black eyes, bruises, a broken collarbone, and evidence of long-term abuse. After some pressing, Michelle finally told investigators that Jonte hit Zykerria continuously in the face and head until she was unconscious. After putting pressure on Jonte, he later admits to investigators that he lost his cool and temper because Zykerria was being disrespectful. Michelle pleaded guilty in 2019 to aggravated manslaughter of a child. She has yet to be sentenced because Judge Mark Borrello wanted to wait to sentence her after he sentenced Jonte. The state recommended she should go to prison for 25 years. Jonte finally goes to trial on February 6, 2024. Michelle was the last one to testify for the state on day 1 of the trial. During her testimony, she broke down crying and the judge had to take a recess. The sheriff that responded to the 911 call and the doctor that treated Zykerria before she was removed from life support both became emotional during their testimonies. Michelle took full responsibility for her part in Zykerria's death, while Jonte blamed Zykerria's death all on Michelle. He said that he didn't discipline the girls because he wasn't their biological father. His excuses for the Google searches were, he claimed, out of concern for Zykerria, and he claimed he lied to police to only protect Michelle. After 4 days, a Duval County jury returns a verdict and finds Jonte guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and aggravated child abuse. He showed no remorse during the trial. He is scheduled to be sentenced on March the 11th, 2024. Ladies, be careful who you have around your kids. Jonte should have been gone after he hit Zykerria the first time. First of all, Michelle totally introduced him to the girls wrong. They came back from spending the summer with their dad, and a whole man has moved into the home playing dad. Okay, he didn't have a place to go. He was your man, so you moved him in with you. But how do you think that was going to work out with the girls? Like, did she even think how it was going to affect the girls? Whether their dad is in their life or not, this is just not an easy adjustment for a child. You have to make sure that the person is right before bringing them around your kids. I know they knew each other from high school, but that had been a while. People change. Plus, you knew him from high school. That don't tell you what you need to know about who he was when y'all decided to be in a relationship. Jonte was controlling, and he wanted the man role in the home, but definitely didn't take the man responsibilities. For the life of me, I don't know how Michelle went to work and left him with the girls after she seen him put her hands on Zykerria the first time. I would have been terrified. Zykerria was 5. What could she have done to deserve to be treated the way she was treated? Absolutely nothing. I felt sorry for Michelle during her testimony, but the back of my mind says, why? I know she was scared, but she could have solved all her problems by just kicking him out the door. She owed him nothing, and for him to think it was okay to treat Zykerria the way he did, and he has a child also, is just horrible. Zykerria's father and grandparents are in the process of suing the Department of Children and Family. They have been trying to obtain custody of the girls made prior to Zykerria's death. The Safe Haven organization is assisting them with their case. May Zykerria now rest in peace. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below on how much time you think Michelle and Jonte should receive. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.